Hi, ladies, and welcome back to Joy for Midlife Women. I'm your host, Cheryl Jones, and I'm so happy that you've decided to join. If you're new to this program, Joy for Midlife Women is dedicated to women 50 and over. It has guests and topics to help you stay energized, active, informed, and fabulous. So my guest today is Lori Abernathy, and she's from Rockville, Connecticut. Her topic is, have you tried journaling? So I'm excited about this topic. Journaling is now one of the most talked about self-care acts and probably one of the cheapest. I've heard about journaling, and they've said that it can have a strong effect on your mood and your immune system. So I think I've been journaling for a couple of years off and on, and I've been gifted a couple of journals that I wanted to show you. And this one, a beautiful cover. It pretty much has the same prompt all the way through to help me write. And it just says to write what you're grateful for. It says to write what you're proud of. And it says, what are you looking forward to? Okay, and I've tried to do that. And then I have a journal that I really like. The cover matters, I think. It kind of helps you want to pick it up and use it. So this journal says, I've got a reason to praise. So this is sort of like my meditation, spiritual kind of conversations that I put. And it has, if you are a person of faith, it has like scripture on each page. So I understand that there's a lot of types of journals, and we're going to hear about this from my guest. So that's why I'm so excited to have my guest here today and my new friend, Lori Abernathy. And her business is called The Soul Provider. So I'd like to welcome Lori to my program.
Thank you, Cheryl. Thank you very much for having me.
How are you doing today?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. Thank you.
Good. So we're going to talk about journaling. I guess we should just start at the top.
Okay.
What is journaling?
Journaling is a way to write down your thoughts, your ideas, your hopes, your dreams, any traumas to go through. It's really for self-discovery. It's a process of your feelings, good or bad feelings, and helps you be honest with yourself because nobody else reads it, and it's all about you. So it's your journey. You can write down anything that you want, but it's in a sacred space.
Okay. All right. So just generally writing. Mm-hmm. So how does that benefit me?
It benefits you because it works on your mental health. Okay. When you journal, you get to work out things in your head. It works on your mental health. It works on your physical health. It produces gratitude. And when you're grateful and thankful, it opens you up to get more positive energy. It helps you work through processes. If you're stuck on something, you can't get it. If you write it out and keep writing it out, it helps you release that.
Okay.
It also can help in the process of letting go and forgiveness. And things like that. So your journal is basically something that you want to work on, and it's specific to you. I might say to know others is wonderful, but to know thyself is awesome.
Oh,
so
wow,
it's a way
awesome.
to get to know yourself better.
Yes, indeed. So if one is not sure how to get started with journaling, where do we begin?
It's very simple. Just pick up a notebook. Hers are beautiful, but you could even pick up a plain notebook at the Dollar Tree or someplace and just notebook and you can just start writing. There are journal prompts, like things I give. It's like, what are your goals for today? Or how do you feel for today? When I started a gratitude journal, and it was, I would name 10 things I'm grateful for.
Okay.
10 things that I've done myself personally, and 10 things of goals that I'd like to try, or goals I want. And you can repeat them every day. They could be the same 10, or you could change them every day, but at least to get it out there so you can see it. Because when it's concrete and written, I think it means more. You pay attention to it more. It could be in your head, but when you physically see it, it kind of changes that and makes you more motivated.
Okay. So it sounds like this is to really have an effective journaling, you're really talking about yourself. You're not writing about someone else. No. You're writing really about yourself.
Correct. Unless it's someone else. That forgiveness piece, you might have to write in there about someone else, about forgiveness, or even how that person made you feel, whether good or bad. But it still eventually helps you because you're processing those feelings. You're not building, you're releasing the anger, you're releasing the resentment, you're releasing stuff like that. So it kind of, it helps. But journaling is all about self-discovery in yourself.
So is there a particular time that you should always journal or just be fluid with it, or?
They say morning, evening. Well, it actually depends on you and your schedule and when you're
Okay.
best in yourself. Like a lot of people get up early in the morning, like at the crack of dawn, and journal. I am not a morning person.
Okay.
So my journaling is late at night when I go to bed. But you can pick the best time for you where you can get at least 5 to 10 moments in your day of quiet or less distraction where you can journal.
Okay. All right. So, and it could be different times on different days, right?
It could be.
Okay. All right. What tips would you have for, busy women of all ages, right? That we might want to journal, but we find our schedules are already packed. How could we incorporate journaling?
Find those. You could journal, like if you're at work, when you have, hopefully of us, we get the 2 15-minute and a 30-minute lunch. Hopefully that works. But you could take 5 minutes of either of those and just jot down a few things during the day. You know, if you don't have the whole 30-minute chunk at once or 15 minutes, you could take little pieces of chunks during the day and write down a few thoughts as you're thinking. Since we're busy, it's hard to have a journal, paper journal. You could maybe try one on your phone, like a phone app or note app on your phone.
Okay.
You could jot down a few things at work, and then you could transfer them to a hard copy journal if you'd like to.
Sure.
Or download a digital journal and type on that, while you're at work.
Okay. Because, of course, as things come to mind for you during the day, you might want to retain that.
Exactly.
And putting it in your phone could be using the notes in your phone as a way. I can understand that could be really great. Just recently, the wellness section in the publication that I have, the Joy magazine, we did an article the contributor wrote about wellness, and she said to do some food journaling. So that was my first time hearing about a specific type of journaling. So I guess there's a lot of types of journaling that we could do.
There's food journal, gratitude journal, thankful journal, spiritual journal, like you said, a business journal, personal journal, a goals journal. So whatever journaling is, whatever you want to work on at that time, you could create a journal. I know some people have all of those journals. They have a notebook for every single one. I'm not that advanced yet. I'm there, but I think I turned my one journal into all of that. But some people have a physical journal, one for healing, one for children, one for business, one for spouse, one for relationships, one for whatever they're doing. So they have separate journals and collect their thoughts that way.
Okay. So is it beneficial to go back and read what you've journaled or not?
Very beneficial because you can see where you've come from to where you are. Writing it down is very cathartic the first time, but when you go back and read it, you're like, wow, I was in a bad place there, or wow, I was in a really good place, and you can see how you've advanced and how you've overcome.
I like that.
I have journals from when I'm back in college and I read them sometime, I'm like, ooh, I wasn't doing too well then. But you know what I mean? If you go back and read it, you get to see how far you've actually come. Because you don't see it when you're in it. When you're in trauma or despair or something, you don't see what you're in. You can feel it, but you're not really sure you've overcome it. So you go back and read it and see where you are now compared to where you were.
Wow.
And that can help boost your self-esteem and encourage yourself to keep going.
That's powerful. That's really good. Does journaling ever fall into getting one to start writing? Like writing professionally?
Possibly.
Writing columns, articles, or anything like that?
Possibly. If you have the love of writing already, journaling could definitely spur that off because you could start with a newsletter or you could be a little blog post could start that. And then as you start doing it, you could get more cathartic and like it more and end up doing a newspaper or like a magazine like you have or even a book.
Okay. That's great. That's really great. So what would you say would be some of the benefits? Because we are women over 50 that we're talking to and trying to share tips with. How would journaling help that audience, our senior audience, our aging audience?
Journaling reduces stress. It creates great self-knowledge and self-worth. It helps you process skills that you've had, and now that you're older, you can write down all your skills. I have this journal prompt to my clients, and I say, write down 77 reasons why you are the ish. And I make them write down 77 things that makes them who they are. And a lot of people think that they don't have that.
Like what?
Like I'm a holistic wellness coach. I had a child at 40. I started my business at 54. I bought my house at 50. You know, things that are remarkable in your life, but build up over time that you don't pay attention to it.
Yes,
You know, I was honored by the
yes.
state of Massachusetts when I was 20, you know, a few years ago for my work in the community. You don't realize those things matter to you. List them all out, and you're like, wow, I have done a lot of stuff.
Look at all the roles and look at everything I've
Yeah,
done.
I do have the knowledge. I do have the information, because a lot of times when we get older, we get stuck. We're used to being mom, brother, sister, wife, co-worker, whatever, and we don't really get to be us.
Right.
And journaling is a way to get back to us. It helps your mental health, it helps your physical health, it helps your well-being. Journaling, I believe, is very good for mental health because it reduces your stress and your anxiety about something. You have all those hats on, and you're always, for most people, you're always the last person in your life.
Wow.
And journaling makes you bring yourself forth to be first.
Oh, I like that.
Self-care is
That
not
needs to be on the
selfish.
front of a journal, right? You are first.
You are first.
You know?
That's right. Self-care is not selfish, it's necessary. But
Okay.
we have been taught, especially women and women of color most times, that it's selfish to be it's selfish to think of yourself, and it's not. 'Cause
Right, that's right.
You're supposed to give from your overflow. You have to fill yourself up, and then your overflow is what you can give to other people. However, most time being mothers and wives and whatever, we give from our cup all the time. We're never really full.
That's right.
And then you hit about 50, 54, you're like, what has happened?
Yes.
Where am I going? What have I been doing? You know, the kids start to leave, the emptiness, things starts to come, and you're like, wow, now what do I do next? Because you forgot yourself.
Yes.
You lose yourself sometimes in these roles. And journaling helps you stay current and keep yourself of mind when you're in these roles.
That's great. You said a powerful amount there, and you know, I wonder sometimes now that I'm hearing about journaling, where was it when I was raising my children? Because I probably could have used some help, some downtime, and I'm so happy I'm hearing younger women, middle-aged women, before they hit middle age, but that 30, 40-year-old where you have small children and such, and the women are starting to take some time for themselves, and I'm hearing that from my daughters. More girl trips, more I can go by myself. I'm enough. I can take a trip by myself. And I'm hearing that more right within a close-knit family, but also on television. You hear a lot of celebs saying, just taking a trip by myself, you know? And it's all about finding yourself and like you said, filling up your own cup. Right? So that you can have something to give.
Exactly.
When you go back. And then I heard that women, you know, that's what they do. I'm taking my journal. I'm going to sit and relax and eat good and, right, you know?
But I think what's propped that was COVID. Because when COVID, we were shut in. Like, we were shut in from people. And you only had yourself to deal with unless you was a family. You know what I mean? It like kind of forced you to reflect, oh, I don't like this situation, or this ain't what I thought it was. Because when you're working 20, you just go with the flow. And now he's working, you're working, you just bypass it. And then when you had to physically stop and spend time there 24 hours a day for a year and something, a lot of stuff came up. Unfortunately, the divorce rate flew in COVID, domestic violence flew in COVID, because you realize the person you're with is not your match now. Because people grow
and change.
I think the growth is, relationships are like a diamond. You start off here and you go this way. Most people go out, but you're supposed to like grow and know yourself and kind of come back together. And we never get to the come back together because we fight, and you know what I mean? But journaling helps you come back to yourself and know who you truly are, and you can make those positive changes and information changes before it gets to that part.
Gets to that part.
And have those conversations, needed healthy conversations.
Sure.
You know?
Yeah, and I didn't think about that COVID, staying away, clustered within a small unit, really brought about, here's what you can do for yourself. Take some time out, some self-care, and that's where we start to hear about that journaling and reading. Yes. Oh, got it. That's really good. So you mentioned journal prompts. And I've seen some of your social media, which has been great. And I've seen some of your prompts. Today's a great day. Write what you're happy about today. What's some other prompts that would help us to just get writing in our journal?
My favorite day of the week, I think, is my self-reflection Sundays.
Okay.
Because I say reflect on last week, see what was good or bad, concentrate on next week to see what's going on, but it gives you time to regroup for what's happening. I like that day
Okay.
because Sunday actually is the first day of the week. I didn't know that 2 years ago, but it's actually the first day of the week.
Yes.
So you get a chance to, okay, this is what happened last week, this was good, this was bad, how can I change what was bad? And then what do I want to do next week? And it gives you the chance to try to regroup, to
Yes.
to reflect, restart, and refocus. My gratitudes are like, what am I grateful for today? What am I thankful for today?
Okay.
And most people think it has to be family and friends, but it could be anything. I'm grateful for waking up. I'm grateful that I can move. If you have health, you know, money, I have arthritis that I can get up every day and walk around. I'm grateful for that because some people are not.
Right.
You know, we have to be mindful. Your situation may be bad, but there's somebody that could be in a worse situation, and you should be grateful for any situation that you're in.
That's
good, bad, or
right.
indifferent, because
Good,
at least
bad,
you're
or
still
indifferent.
here.
Yeah.
You know, mistakes come and go, but it's okay because you're still here to change them or whatever.
That's right.
Another one, Thankful Thursdays, Forgiving Fridays. Forgiveness is very, very important.
Okay.
But some people mislabel. Forgiveness does not mean that you condone the other person's behavior.
Okay.
Forgiveness means that you are willing to accept that behavior that happened to them and know that's not for you, and to make that boundary to say, okay, this is where I'm done, and do it respectfully, kindly. I forgive you, but I don't think you can be in my life anymore. We need to change this dynamic. So it
Okay.
doesn't mean you condone what the person did for you. And that was
Okay.
very hard for me to learn, but I learned it. It just means that I accept what they did to me, and how am I going to change that so it doesn't happen again.
Right. This is good. This is good information. So one thing that I heard from someone about a journal prompt was to write for seniors, nobody knows that and finish that statement.
Yes.
I thought that was so funny,
Exactly.
because that's so true. As we age and we have all these wonderful experiences and everything, does your family even know half the things that you do and, have experienced in your life? And it's
Exactly.
great. Maybe you forget about them yourself, right? And write them down.
Yeah.
That's great. Yeah.
That is good. And it helps you also, and after you write them down, you feel encouraged and empowered, like, wow,
Sure.
I did do that. Look what I've done. Like, it helps your
Sure.
self-esteem so that you can
Yeah.
stay in that positive mindset.
Okay. So let's talk about you a little bit, because your business is called The Soul Provider. And tell us about that.
The Soul Provider is a life coaching services. I came up with the name a few years ago. I was, on maternity leave with my second son, single mom, and I was watching this show called Second Chances, and I'm like, boy, I could use a second chance. I could sure use a second chance. And it's a reality show where 6 or 7 people came into this home, like a retreat, and there was a person there called life coaching, which is Ilana Van Zant. And that's the first time I heard that term. And she
Okay.
was doing reflections, making them do that inner work, and I'm like, oh. I said, I could do that. I said, wait a minute, I've been doing that with all my girlfriends and stuff. They'd come to me, about relationships.
Nobody
and
knows that
That's right, that I. And I said, oh, I
Okay.
could do this. And that started that journey. And then I started life coaching and getting certified and learning about that. And I said, if I'm going through this, I wonder how many other women are going through this. I said, I would like to help them. And that started my passion to be mindful, to help women at least stay on track or get back on track. Because like I said, we
Yes.
lose ourselves when all that happens. I am a mindfulness practitioner. I got my BA in women's health education. I went to college to be pre-med, and I got in, but I realized it really wasn't the medicine that I want. It was the issues around women.
Okay.
That was my interest in.
To support women.
To
That
support
sounds
women. So I
wonderful.
switched my major to women's studies, and I got my BA in women's health education. And I've been going
Okay.
from there. I didn't really promote myself too often, and I'd help people. And like, you should, people's like, oh, you should do this service. And I'm like, And they're like, no, really, you should do the service. So after I graduated, I'm like, let's go. Let's start this
Ready to go.
service, and let's ready to
Yes.
go. Let's help other women.
This next
to stay
stage
on
of
track.
life.
It's the
That's
next
what we're
stage of
talking
life.
about.
That's right. I was 50 when I finally got my BA.
Excellent.
And I started
Excellent.
at 18 like everybody else. So that was a long journey.
Yeah,
But
but you did it.
I did it.
That's right.
So I kept going.
And everything in the right time, right? Everything
That is
falls
true.
together at the right time. So your services are for individuals,
I do
services with women,
individual
or
and
group,
couples.
or in
And
couples?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm blessed to be able to co-parent effectively after divorce.
Okay.
And my son is now 17. And I said, I can use these tools that we learn together to help other couples, whether they're together or not, work that. Co-parenting is extremely
Beautiful.
difficult.
Yeah.
Extremely difficult. And to consciously make the decision to do that, it takes a lot of work.
Yes.
And a lot of people, even in relationships, it takes work. Because the person you
does.
met is not the person who's going to be there 3-4 years ago. You change through your relationships, and you have to be
Right.
aware of that and be ready and open for the person that you're getting in that phase.
That's right.
You know, because every phase of life, you become a different you. And I think we forget that sometimes.
Wow, that's great.
I have a free digital 7-day journaling workbook that you can download, which is digital, and they can start that process.
Okay.
So you can send
So
that.
they don't have to purchase a journal. They can get a digital copy
I have
from
a digital,
you.
like just a
Okay,
7-day to
that's
start,
beautiful.
if you like it, to just start that manner. Because sometimes journaling, some people like it but don't. So just before you go buy a whole bunch of stuff to do it, just take a 7-day little workbook and try it out to see if
Sure.
it fits for you, and then you can go further.
Okay.
And I also have I do a 30-minute discovery or strategy call, soul chat, I call it.
Oh.
And you can just chit chat for free and I help you co-create or create things or ideas or goals that you like to work on.
Perfect.
Coaching to me is, therapist brings you from the past to the present, but life coaching brings you to the present to the future.
Say that again.
Therapy brings you from the past to the present, but coaching brings you from the present to the future.
Beautiful.
So when a lot of my clients are in therapy and they see me and we kind of co-create together, I'm like
Okay.
a 10x accountability partner. That's how I
Okay.
like to feel it.
Excellent. I like that. So this is very much needed, though. I understand that, there's a lot of women out there that wish they had someone to talk to that was non-biased and, just good listeners.
Yes.
And that's what it sounds like your services would help
Yes,
with.
yes.
And then also to help them think outside the box, how to get back on track.
Exactly.
And then possibly even to think about, sometimes writing things down in a journal will help them to bring everything full
Together,
circle
exactly.
together for themselves.
Exactly.
Yes.
We all had dreams and goals and ideas before we became wives and mothers and whatever. And we lose that because we're always taught to concentrate on others.
Someone else.
So now that we get concentrated on, you can get back to yourself. I had a woman, one of my clients she went to school for designer, like stores, you design the setups in stores.
Yes.
And she found a dream job of doing that for TJ Maxx. And she was like, oh
Okay.
my God, I never thought I could do it. I said, you had the skills. She just had to be reminded that she had the skills. She had a degree in everything. She just
Right.
kind of forgot it. So,
Oh, wow.
yeah.
This is good. This is good. So I'm very happy that you were able to join us today. Is there anything that I didn't ask you about that you want to share about, are you journaling?
Are you journaling? You're right. Journal could be a big prompt, a little prompt. Just do something for you every day. Just
Okay.
5 minutes. Give yourself 5 minutes for a cup of tea, 5 minutes to break. When you come home from work, then sit in the car for 5 minutes and just clear yourself and breathe. Do a little breathing technique. Breathe in for 15 seconds, hold it for 15 seconds, release it for 15 seconds, and just get yourself calm down to relax. I
Excellent.
am starting empathetic listening, which is ironic you mentioned that today, so you can reach out to me for that. And just to have someone to listen to you that's non-biased and can just say, so you can just let it out without feeling guilty and stuff like that.
Okay, the sole provider.
Yes. So right.
Well, thank you so much, Lori.
Thank you very much for having me.
This concludes our program. Thank you for watching, ladies. If you'd like more joy, these programs from Joy for Midlife Women are available on YouTube. We have a host of lifestyle topics and guests that can give information that may be helpful to you. And also we have the Joy magazine. If you'd like to purchase a subscription, it has lots of topics in the magazine, wellness and recipes and finance and good stuff for women over 50. If you'd like to be a guest on this program, please contact me at joyeditor19@gmail.com. And until next month, stay joyful.